All right, good morning. I'm 20 seconds early. I want to see, as I'm going live, CPI is being released. We'll see what effect it has on the markets. This is the ES right here. Welcome, this is Pre-Market Wake Up with Frank. That would be me. My community is no more paper trading. I have a massive audience of 0. Hopefully it'll grow one day. I have faith. So we got a quick dive down, but it was almost immediately bought up. Let's take a look at what the actual news was. Consumer Price Index. I always forget what exactly they are. So that's bad, even though it's green. But I thought inflation wasn't going up. How the hell does this work? Again, things are coming in exact. That is always strange to me. I don't think I've ever seen that happen as much as it's been happening lately. Or very close to it. Continuing jobless came in exactly the same as last time. Who knows? I'm trying my best to ignore all that stuff. That's why I can't. If anyone knows, I know nobody's watching, but I do this for myself mostly. If anyone knows of a great site that just talks about trading and doesn't inject a clear objective. Like Yahoo. I mean, it's obvious who owns Yahoo. You can see it every day. It's Yahoo Finance is not about finance at all. Fox News is just as terrible. Bar chart used to be good, but now that's pretty much the same. They're just kind of lazy over there. I miss the old days of The Economist. That's now partisan. But I forget when they were bought out. Pre-2015, we'll say. They were great when they were independently owned. That might be one of the major reasons why I just like technical trading. The charts. The charts are not going to be biased one way or another politically. Speaking of, let's see what they think of the news. I don't know if it'll be out yet. They're pre-packaged articles. Yeah, I mean, look at all this. It's just so clear. It's not nearly as bad as they make it out to be. Well, let's start looking at the overnight moves. I want to look at the overnight moves in the indices, gold and oil. And then I'll look at tomorrow's news coming up a little bit. And then some key levels for today. I'll try to make it quick. I've got too much work to do today. I don't really have anything else besides that. Once I start gaining an audience, I will put much more work into this. To a certain point, I want to trade more. The entire point of this whole thing is so I challenge myself to be more professional. All right, in the ES we have overnight ticked up slightly, bouncing quite cleanly off of yesterday's close, which happened to be the same place we just bounced right now off the news. Also, yesterday's 9:30 open holding us back a little. The NQ, we had similar. Nice clean bounce off of yesterday's close. And the news, I mean, it swept through, but it pretty much did bounce off of it. On the upper end, didn't get anywhere near yesterday's 9:30 open. 9:30 Eastern Standard Time. The Russell. Russell was a bit more flat last night. I wouldn't call those clean hits on opening range low. Yesterday's opening range low, which is this red line. And I wouldn't call that a clean hit off of previous month's close, which is this orange line. And that's yesterday's low. We're heading towards it right now. We'll probably bounce off it at least once. But also, price did not really respect yesterday's close, as you can see. I almost feel like I have that mislabeled. No? No, I don't. All right. The Dow. A bit more clean on yesterday's close, bouncing between yesterday's close and previous month's close. I didn't take any trades last night in anything. I wanted to get to bed early. Again, the news bouncing off of yesterday's close. Not going lower than it like the others have. Oh wait, no they haven't. Don't know what I'm thinking. Gold. What happened last night? Trending down, gold. That could be because of heightened interest in the rate cut. Money could be moving into the indices a bit more instead of moving into gold. Also, gold has just been ripping and roaring, so needed some profits, I guess. It's interesting that right at the news release, gold hit yesterday's close right on. If I do ever trade news releases, I think that's what I would do, is a quick scalp at the major key areas. But what would suck is I would have to keep a very wide stop in those moments when price does just keep on moving at a news release, I'd be screwed. I'd have to have some type of a stop. Like the ES. How many points is that? That's only 3 points. What I could do is look back at all the news releases, see how wide they are, see how they hit key areas. Another thing on my to-do list. That's why I love trading. Always something to do. Always something to work on. Always something to observe, to research. Let's take a look at oil. Oil trended down overnight as well. A couple clean hits off of yesterday's close, building up some support and resistance right near it. I've talked often about this magnet level here in oil. Again, price wants to come back to it. If I was scalping oil most of the day, I would probably, if price was above this area, I would only short. If price was below that area, I would only go long. At least currently. This has only been a month and a half that this area has been a magnet. Very clean hit yesterday on last month's close, and then it was just right back to the magnet. I'll take a look at that more later. That's good. I gotta remember that. I am kind of trading oil more and more lately. I just always default back to the ES because it's very liquid for scalping. All right, let's take a look at the overnight VIX. Right up here. I like having all these charts here to compare directly. I hope that's big enough. Should be. We trended lower pretty good in the VIX overnight. Obviously the news release sent it rocketing, but it's right back down. I don't think the news is as bad as people want it to be. I think the Fed is set on cutting, and people are set on the Fed wanting to cut. But I mentioned it yesterday to a family member that I got to watch next week. I don't trade the FOMC, but if it is a disappointment, I'll probably exit a lot of my longer term trades, because who knows how far it can go. What I'll do is I'll exit them, probably exit them right at the news release, and whatever price I exit at, if price returns there, I'll get right back in. It's just the last, I don't know how long, year, two, maybe longer. The FOMC and the rate cuts have been extremely important to the markets. We are a debt-run society right now, and the price of debt matters most. Forget about making value or building profits. That's secondary to how much magic money you can whip up. The dollar gapped down pretty good. why it opens at 8. I would guess because that's the Asia Open. And the futures, index futures. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I should look at something else for this. But anyway, gap down, and then rose pretty good. Huge movement on the dollar, but now slightly recovering. All right, what do we got coming up tomorrow? Michigan consumer sentiment. No, was that next week? No, that's this week. That's at 10 tomorrow. I will block out that time. Tonight, or later on today, I would block out monthly budget statement at, I would do 1350 to 1410. I don't know how important that will be to futures, but who knows? Is that the federal budget? Yeah. Of the Federal Reserve Bank, not the government. That'd be interesting to watch, though. See if see how broke we're getting. Oh wait, it's contradicting itself. Okay. That's everything, I think. There's just too much to know. At all times, everywhere. All right, let's look at some key areas for today that I'll be looking at. I'm looking to trade for a good part of the day. I might have to go work on other things later. Eventually, I wouldn't mind trading live once I do more scalping type trades and get better equipped for that. I'm still slow on TradingView with inputting orders, and I made a mistake yesterday with orders. I blame myself like 60%, 40% is TradingView's terrible entry. For some reason it just blocked my order, despite it working every other time. I make these pre-configured orders with a, I don't know, 10, 20 point stop loss, 10, 20 point profit target for futures. And it'll just say, you can't enter an order with your stop loss above your whatever, something like that. But other times it works. I mean, it's their own configuration. I don't know if it's my brokerage having issues. I don't know. All right, for the ES, we are recovering nicely. I think I think Yahoo is just putting their usual spin on it. I don't think it's as bad as people suspected. If you can even trust the numbers. Who knows? The whole point of all this, the whole point of technical trading is you make money going either way. But market go up. What do we have? Heading higher, if we start heading higher, we are going to have, that would be yesterday's high and current monthly high, which happens to be an all-time high. Pretty sure it's an all-time high, at least for the ES. I would not go long. Maybe I would go long till we get up there. But everyone and their mother will be taking profits at that level. You're going to see a lot of volatility there. If we head lower, yesterday's close, very important level at 65.39. Beyond that, this is a daily. You can see this is previous month's high at 65.24 area. Might be a bounce off of that. Further beyond that, I don't think we'll get there. Maybe at the open when the big players come in, maybe they won't like the numbers as much as pre-market traders. I doubt it. All right, let's take a look at NQ. If we head higher, before the open, I would pay attention to yesterday's 9:30 open and yesterday's opening range high. After the open, I still look out for it, but I don't trade off of it. I don't plan around it. Beyond that, we have current month high and yesterday's high at 24.41, 24,041. Beyond that would be last month's high, and then pivot point at 24,091. It's not that far away, but it's a lot to get through. We are not near, maybe I'm saying it wrong. We are not making new all-time highs on the NASDAQ. I think that could be a sign of the AI bubble kind of losing steam, or just summer slog, like I talked about yesterday and before. Not a lot of people around to hype things up. All right. Oh, going down. If we head down, just like in the yesterday's close, it was important in the overnight. It will be important during today. Beyond that, we have the low, yesterday's low, down here. If we really get going, I don't think it'll happen. But we have last month's close at 23,463 generally. 23,461.75 exact. Russell. Again, the Russell recovering. Bounced right off of yesterday's 9:30 open for a little bit. Looks like buyers are in control. You do see a balance favoring sellers right at the news release for at least 10 minutes. But after that, just recovery. I see us going up. If we head up, previous month's high at 23.98 and yesterday's high. Yesterday was a bit muted for the Russell, which was surprising. Barely held together. You would think with the rate cuts coming, the Russell would benefit most. I forget when was Jackson Hole? That was when the Russell really jumped. Again, another thing for my list of should have known, should have traded, should have been paying attention. It's good to look back at things you should have noticed, but you have to realize you're not going to get them all. If we head lower on the Russell, you're looking at, again, the overnight did not really respect yesterday's close. Knew it was there, but didn't care. On the other hand, you have last month's close at 23.69 and yesterday's close. No. Yesterday's low. You can see several days hitting right off that low. Not to mention the overnight. I don't think we'll get below that. I think people are there to buy it up. It's a good place to get profit intraday and a bit of a swing. But there's always a day where those areas are broken, not respected anymore. Ideally, in my trading, these are the areas where I would trade the most. But sometimes I do trade the lesser key areas. I have trouble having a distinction between short-term scalps, longer-term scalps, longer-term trades, swing trades. I used to write up these I tried my hardest to be very systematic. I would write down these strategies, exactly what I would do if then this, if this happens then that. And they rarely work out that way. Sometimes they do, but I had to kind of build a more discretionary strategy. That's what I was comfortable with. Systematically, there was always exceptions, and the exceptions were often, and I couldn't decide what constitutes the trend. And who knows how long I would hold the trade. You don't go into a trade thinking, I'm going to hold this for 15 minutes. I might say I'm going to hold this till it gets to this level or that level. But maybe I need to work on that more. All right, let's take a look at the Dow. If we head higher, we are looking at this channel up here, around 45,843. So many days, as you can see here, were reversed in that area. It was yesterday where we broke above it momentarily. That was at the news release yesterday at 8:30. Did not stay up there long. We might challenge that again today. I'd look out for that. There's not much in between there to stop you. Price might slow at yesterday's open and yesterday's opening range high. But I don't know. I don't know what to expect. I wouldn't think there'd be a reversal there if we build support at in this area. If we head lower, you're looking at the close, yesterday's close. It's also where the news stopped. Beyond that, you have yesterday's low. I don't see us getting much lower than that. You kind of see a trend here the last few days. Maybe since here. I forget what kind of triangle you call this. I'm still working my way through the Edwards and McGee. But if I remember correctly, this is starting to signify a breakout towards the upper end. And if I was betting on it, I would say that'll happen next week. But we shall see. Gold. Gold did not take that news well. I mean, at first it did. But now it's trending lower. I'd say look out for yesterday's low. Probably see a bounce off there. Also, this pivot point right in here, the R2 pivot point at 36.62. Price did bounce off that a few times. I'd look out for that. If we drop lower, there's not much in the way. Gold could see a huge drop today if it breaks below yesterday's low. Again, I would wait for confirmation, however you choose to do that. I would look for it in price action and relative strength. We do have a trend of strength going lower in gold. Well, not really. Yesterday was flat, but now it's lower. But if I remember correctly, yesterday was lower at the open as well, and then gained some strength back. Oh, you do see a trend here. It's like at the top, we couldn't bring in more volume. And then yesterday was another attempt, it just couldn't do it. Yeah, I could see it falling pretty good today. If it doesn't, let's take a look at what would happen then. We have yesterday's close to get through. Beyond that, and yesterday's high. I think if we head up there though, there's not going to be a whole lot of strength. It would be a slow progress. Oil. Let's take a look at oil. So yesterday we had this magnet area I always talk about between 63.28 and 62.91. Let's call it the 63 magnet. Price keeps returning there. So yesterday the overnight was stuck in there. And then at the open we were stuck in there for a little while. Broke out. Hit very cleanly off of yesterday's, their last month's close at 64. So round numbers matter a lot for oil, I'm finding. Let me know what you think. I wonder if other people notice that. I asked ChatGPT, and ChatGPT said, "You're always right." So I am always right. Anyway, price, like a magnet, came back down to the 63 area. We did not linger long here. I can see that might change things because we did bounce right off of last month's close rather than extend beyond it. I would be looking for right now any reason to return to 63. Anywhere in this area, down here. I don't know if we'll get there in one day, but I would consider that as a swing trade, at least an overnight trade. If we come down here during the regular open, which is 9:30 to 4:15 or whenever settlement is. I think it's 4:15. I know that futures close at 5. Does gold? I think gold close or oil closes earlier. How don't I know that? No, it's 5. Their settlement might be different. I forget what is different. Maybe I'm thinking of wheat futures. I don't know. If we head down here, can't break past, I'm definitely taking a long here, back towards 63. I would probably take profits right at the bottom of that zone. Probably at like 62.90, 62.85. You could see it slow down. If we come down here, I know this is looking too far into the future to make any real predictions. But oil has been pretty predictable lately, despite the overseas conflict stuff that caused issues there. But if we come down here, build up strength to make a push back to 63, I might put an alert in to watch price as it hits this area right here, which would be yesterday's. Is that yesterday's low? Yeah, yesterday's low in the area we're stuck at right now. Just in case we stop there and don't continue on. Just to be clear, I would not start taking a position at 62. I would wait until we came down to 61.30 area. If we head higher, like I think I might have mentioned, last month's close, so that area, 64, was a bit of a magnet as well. I bet you some government somewhere want 63 and 64. They want oil there in that area. Definitely some price control going on. But I think that's it. I kept it quick. I kept it more simple, hopefully. And that's it for today. Again, a massive audience of 0, but it's okay. I noticed things I wouldn't have noticed if I didn't do this. happy trading. Good luck. I will probably be here tomorrow. I'm aiming for 3 to 4 days a week. 5 if I really can. But I will probably be here tomorrow. If not, I will make an afternoon video or a post saying why.